Alex, you made the point earlier that it's Friday Eve. Of course, tomorrow is Friday. There are things on the calendar we need to be mindful of, starting with what's happening in Europe.
Yep, so you got the ECB accounts. That's coming at 7 a.m. The real deal is this is kind of like the minutes. You can get insight.
Thank you. Translation.
The idea is that ECB is definitely going to cut in June. They have telegraphed that by far. The question is what they do after. There seems to be no idea, no consensus yet, so that's going to be quite interesting to see what they're starting to think about that.
So one and done, or is this the beginning of something
Right, which
more?
is different than here, which is it feels like once we cut, then we'll continue to cut. We just don't know when. So difference there.
Yeah, well, let's take take things one step at a time, right? All right, speaking of how things are done here, there's going to be a lot of Fedspeak on the calendar. Austin Goolsbee, Lori Logan, Bowman, Barr, Kashkari.
I know,
feel like,
you name it, it's there.
Yeah, it's like a roulette wheel of like, which Fed speaker do you want to hear from?
Well, and you didn't put on the UMich thing. We get UMich, preliminary read in May. That actually moves markets now. It's a good sentiment indicator, particularly inflation expectations. And we've seen a lot of the soft data coming in really light or not great, especially NFIB or ISM services, ISM manufacturing kind of starting, well, services rolling over. I'm into that.
Yeah, so that's another read on the economy, and that'll dovetail with the Fedspeak, and I didn't mean to add the word dove and give any kind of indication of what we might hear. But,
Understood.
in any case. Also, Xi Jinping, he's been on this great European tour. He's going to wrap things up tomorrow.
Yeah, but I thought no one else agreed with me, but I thought it interesting he didn't visit Germany, considering that the German car market is very dependent on China. He went to France and then Poland and Hungary, so it was countries that aren't necessarily
the crux of Europe.
Right, and also maybe more friendly to Russia than otherwise. I found that to be very interesting as well, so it'll be interesting to see kind of the takeaway from that. And then, of course, kind of how we close. I do feel like how we close the week will then set us up for next week when we do finally get some economic data that could move the market in the form of CPI. And we still have earnings trickling out. I think we can start to get the retail numbers next week, like Walmart. So we'll get another read on the health of the consumer. Whereas McDonald's, not great. Starbucks, not great. Cracks for Amazon in terms of the consumer, not great.
So you have this economy that on the surface is doing very well, but there are cracks appearing, and certainly the anecdotal from the companies would suggest that there's a lot more cautious behavior coming from consumers, which drive this economy, and that's starting to pick up steam as we head into the summer season. You're seeing that with the anecdotal from companies that rely on consumer spending money to go travel as well.
Yep,
All right.
Interesting.